Hi guys, welcome back. So today I just wanted to talk to you about creating this kind of reveal effect you see here when we scroll down the page. So it's a really nice effect, I think. You get that kind of nice reveal. We can also adjust the parameters on this as well. So we can say, for example, we can make it more randomized. So we can say math.random times 1.5 seconds, and you get this nice kind of tiled image reveal effect randomly. Yeah, we can also, increase the speed of this if that's too slow for you. And we can make it even faster than that. But yeah, I think it's pretty smart, kind of futuristic. Yeah, all vanilla JavaScript, and yeah, no libraries. Let's get going. Thanks. Okay guys, so to get started, you can see that I've just got the three usual files. We have an index.html, a style.css and an app.js file, and I also have this images folder here where you can just see I've just sourced 6 random images from unsplash.com, just kind of gone for like abstract images. Okay, so let's just jump into the HTML. We'll emit some boilerplate code here. As always, we'll link to the style.css in the header, and then we'll also just go in the body and we'll do a script source, and we'll go to our app.js file. Okay, now in the body I'm just going to do a header here. This will be like our nav bar, and then in this nav bar we're going to actually have a container, and we're going to use this container just to basically space out our content using a grid. And then we're going to have a div in here with a class called logo, and here you can just put whatever you want. I'll just put, I don't know, yeah, grid reveal, whatever you want. And then in the header, so we're coming out of the header now, we'll just do a section. And then again, in this section, I'm going to use that container again. So we'll say class of container for a div. And then in this container, we're now going to have basically just another div. And this is going to, we're going to give this a class of image container. Okay, so image _, container, like so. And then we're just going to add an image in here. So we'll just say image, and we'll just go to /images, and we'll link to our first image. I'm just going to open this in live server so you can see what we're working with. Let's just bring this up here. Okay, so there's our image. Let's just close this down a bit. Okay, now I want to do another image underneath this. We're going to have just 2 images per section for this tutorial. I'm just going to change that image to 2, like so. And then I'm basically just going to duplicate this down. Okay, so we just take this section here. We'll copy it. I'll change these image numbers to 3 and 4. Use the image address that you have. I've just numbered these just to make this tutorial quicker. And then I'll just say 5 and 6. Okay, so now we should have our images loaded to the screen. That's looking good. And now what I want to do now is let's just go to our style.css. And the first thing we'll do, as always, is just to add, remove the default margins and padding. You can see we've got this padding here. We don't want that. So we'll just say, we'll say margin 0, and then we'll say padding 0. And then we'll say box sizing border box. Box sizing border box. Okay, you can see now our paddings have been removed. I also just want to say font family. We'll just say sans serif. I really don't like that serif font, that default serif font. And then we'll just say font font weight 400, just to make the text lighter as well. Okay, so the next thing I want to do here is I'm just going to set some root variables. So we're going to use CSS variables for this tutorial. So to do that, we'll use the root function here, or the root setting here in CSS. And we're going to define 3 variables, okay, we can use throughout our code. The first one is basically the transformation variable, and here this will just mean we're going to apply a transform animation time of 0.5 seconds, and then we're going to specify the background color time frame as well, and here we'll just make that 1 second. Okay, so this is just the settings for our transformations we're going to be applied to our reveal effect for each of the tiles over our images, and then we're going to specify a tile color. And for now, I'm just going to go over yellow, green, a green yellow color. I think there is a color called green yellow in CSS, so we'll just go over that for now. And then we can just specify the BG color as well, the general background color. So just do a double hyphen BG color, and here I'm just going to specify that as 161616 for a nice dark grey color. Okay, and then in the HTML and body, so say HTML body, now what we can do is we can use the CSS variable to change that background color. Okay, so to do that, we're just going to say background color, and then we can just say var for variable, and then we can just use that BG color. So say BG color, and now you can see that we have that background at the top of the screen here. You can see now the background has turned to grey. And here I'm just going to set, the text color to be white. Color white. Okay, and there you go. So now, kind of under the HTML, let's next target our header section, and we can just say position relative, and then we want to say display flex to center the content. So display flex, and then we'll just say justify content to the center, and then you can see that our content's been centered now. And then we can just say we want to give this some margin as well, so I'm just going to say do you want to do margin or maybe padding? Let's do padding. Yeah, padding 1 rem and 0. So what this means, it'll be have a padding of 1 rem at the top and bottom and 0 to the left and right. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is target the let's just target the container actually. Yeah, so let's just go dot container, and in this container I'm just going to say we want position relative, and what I'm also going to do up here is I'm going to specify another variable called grid cols, and it's just going to be repeat. We use the repeat function, and we'll just say 12 1 fraction unit. Okay, and you'll see what we do with this in a minute. Position relative for the container, we're going to give this a width of 95%, like so. Just give it a background color of red, just so you can see what we're working with. So there's our container. You can see that's nice and centered, 95% of the viewport. We'll give this a max width as well of just 1200 pixels, just so it doesn't get too wide on large screens. Actually, that's probably a bit too narrow. We can probably let's just go 1600, just to your taste really. But yeah, on big screens you don't want it to go too big. Okay, and then what we want to do underneath this is we're just going to say display grid. So we use CSS grid here, and then what we can do is we'll specify the grid template columns, and then we're just going to use that variable, and we'll just say grid cols. So now what you'll see here is when we go to inspect this element, you can see that container is now split into 12 equal columns there, like so. So we can, we can spread our content in this container across these divs, or just to taste really. And I really like using CSS grid to lay out my website, so it gives it a nice kind of cohesive feel. Okay, so next we want to do here is, I think that's it for our container. Let's just do a gap actually. So we'll say a gap of 1 rem, like so. And yeah, what that does, we'll just inspect this again. You'll see that just gives a nice gap in between our columns, our CSS grid columns. Okay, now we've got that done. I just want to also say grid auto rows, and we'll just say min content. And what this will do when we have our images, it will basically, for each row that our images are on, the grid row will fit the size of the content that it houses. Okay, that's what we're saying there. Okay, next I want to do here, let's just target our logo in the header, and then here we can just say grid column, and we'll just say span 6, just so it takes up half of the header, and now you can see that it falls on one line again. I'm going to take that background red out, like so. Okay, now next thing we want to do is I'm going to target our sections. So we'll say section here, and again with these we're going to position and relative. We can then give these a width of 100%, like so. and then I'm just going to say display flex. Use flexbox again just to center our images, center our content rather, and then we can say justify content center, and then we'll also just say I want to give these a min height as well. So say min height, and we'll just say 100 viewport heights, just so they take up, the whole viewport basically. Okay, next thing I want to do is, we've done our container. Next thing we can do is say, I want to target our image containers. Okay, so if we target our .image container, and here we're just going to give these again a position of relative. I'm going to set the overflow to be hidden, like so. And then the next thing I want to do here is, so that basically means we have our divs now, and the images which these image containers contain, the image doesn't overflow those containers, so you can't see the rest of the image basically. And then the next thing I want to do, we have a section here. Okay, and so I'm just checking. Right, what we need to do here, we've made a mistake here. We need to take out this other container, which is put this image in that container, in the first container. So come under here. We want two images in the container basically. So we can remove this container, and then we'll cut this image container out of this, place it under here. Remove this container. Okay, that's looking better. And then finally, for the third section, we'll just paste it under here. Sorry about that, guys. Just delete this container. So you only want one container basically per section, and that container is going to house the two image container divs. Okay, so that's looking correct now. Okay, now coming back to our image container, what we want to say now is we want to give this a width of fit content. Okay, and then also we want to say just a height of fit content as well. Okay, and then we can just say display flex, justify content center, and align items center, like so. Now I'm just going to come back to my HTML quickly, and what I want to do here is I'm just going to basically just style these individually. So the first image container, I'm just going to say grid column, and here I'm just going to say span 8. Okay, so that now spans 8 of the grid columns, and then for actually no, we do span 7. Sorry, let's do span 7, and then we can just say for the other one. So I'm just going to copy this style tag down, come into the second image container, and here we'll just say span 5, like so. Okay, and then let's just see why we haven't got okay, grid column span 7. Trying to work out why we can't see why this is not, why this container here is spanning the whole section. Okay, and we should have a gap there as well. So why is that not doing it? Okay, I think I know why. So we can just say here dot image. If I say image contain, I think we need to specify our image. Let's do that. We'll say dot image container image, and here we can just say position relative, and I'll give these a width of 100%. That's better, okay, yeah, and a height of 100% as well. And then what we can say here is I actually want to give these an aspect ratio of 16:9. Okay, and then, you know, give them whatever aspect ratio you want, and then we can just say object fit cover, just to preserve the aspect ratio, the original aspect ratio of the image, and then we can just say object position center to center the images. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so yeah, we've got that now, and then I just want to basically copy these styles down, which we'll just make them opposites for each section. Okay, so what I mean by that is if we come down to this second section here, we'll do the style. I'll make this span 5 for the first image container, and then we'll make it span 7 for the second, so they're kind of reversed like so. And then the same thing down here, we can just say span 5, or no, we'll keep that span 7 rather, and then we'll change the second one to span 5, grid column span 5. Okay, so there you go, there's our images. Okay, so now that that's done, we can next just come to our CSS again, and then we're just going to set next the tiles. So we can just say dot tile, and these are going to be the tiles that cover our images, and here we can just say position relative, and then we'll just say transition of 1 second, and then we'll also just give these an overflow of hidden, and then here we'll just say a width of 12%, and then we'll give them a height of 12% as well. Okay, and then underneath this we're next going to target our tile covers, so tile cover like so, and here we can just say position absolute, and then we'll say background color of var, and we use the back BG color like so, and then we'll say transition, and here we can use the var as well, and we'll just use the trans variable that we set at the top, and then we'll also just say will change transform, just to optimize the browser to perform these transitions. Okay, because there's a lot of tiles we're going to place over our images to create this reveal effect. That's it for the tile cover. Next thing we need to do here is just to say when the tile cover is hidden, when we apply the class list of hidden, so we'll say tile cover dot tile dot hidden, sorry, we'll say tile with a class list of hidden, and then we can say target the tile cover, then we'll just say background color, and then we can just say var tile color like so. Okay, and then we're going to have basically 4 tile covers for each tile. Okay, so this is just basically going to be the top, bottom, left and right of each tile. Okay, we need to create that kind of reveal effect, so we need kind of 4 border tiles basically. So to do that, the first one we're going to do is the top one, so we say b top, and here we can just say top, we want to set the initial position to -1%, and then we'll say left of 0, and yeah, okay, and we need to close that off, left of 0, and then we can just say height of 52%, and then we'll just say a width of 100%. And then what we want to do now is we can say when the tile is hidden, dot tile, and when the class list of hidden is applied, then for the b top we can just say transform, and then we can just say translate to y, and we want to translate that, we'll just go back -150% just to make sure it is fully off. It translates to the top -150%. And then next thing we're going to do is the b bottom, so this is the bottom border of the tile, and then here we can just do the same thing really. We can just say bottom -1%, and then we'll just say left 0, then we'll just give it a height of 52% again, and then we can just say a width of 100%. And we'll kind of do the same thing for this, so we can just copy this down, and then for the B bottom, we can just translate this 150% instead of minus 150%. And then finally, we just need to do the B left and the B right. So to do that, we'll just say dot B right. We'll do B left first. B left. And then we can just say here, we'll give this a top of 0, left 0, give this a width of 52%. And then we'll just say a height of 100%. And then we can just say, let's take this. So when we apply the hidden class to the tile, the B left will transform on the x-axis. So we want it to translate out to the left. And here we'll just say minus 150%. And then we can just basically do the same thing for the right. Okay, so let's copy this down. We'll say B right. And here we'll just say change left to right. And then we can just give it a width of, same thing. We'll give it a height of 100%, and then we'll change this to B right at the bottom when we apply the hidden class. And then here we'll just translate it out to 150% to the right. Okay, that's our CSS. Now let's move to the JavaScript and get this kind of tiling effect working. Okay, so what we want to do first is we just want to grab all of our image containers. So we just say const image containers equals, and we're just going to take all of our document dot query selector all, and let's just grab our image or dot image container like so. Okay, so if our console.log image containers, you should see now in our console we have basically our 6 images here. Okay, so you can see there's our containers. Okay, and then the next thing I want to do here is I'm going to create a class actually. So let's just create a class, and it's just going to be called image container. Okay, and we're going to initiate the class here. It's going to take a constructor, and we're just going to pass in each container element into this. So here we can say this.l equals L that we pass in. We'll say this.tiles, and that's going to equal an empty array where we're going to push all of our tiles which cover the image onto. And then we're just going to create 2 methods. We'll say this.init and this.observe. Okay, and then we can come out of the constructor and say init and observe, the 2 methods. Okay, now in our init, what I want to do is we're just going to do a loop here. Okay, so we'll say for let I equal 0 whilst I is less than 10, and then we'll do I++. And actually what I'll do is I'm going to change this I to an X, because this is us going along the X-axis, okay? And then underneath here, we're going to do like an inner loop here as well. So we're going to go traverse along the Y-axis on this nested loop. So we do for Y equals 0 whilst Y is less than 10, and we'll do Y++. Now, what we want to do here is we're going to say let's tile equal document dot create element. And once create a div element, and then we want to add the class of tile to this. Say tile.classList.add, and we'll just add the tile class like so. And then what we're going to do here, we're going to say tile.style.left equals, and here we're going to use template literals here, so backticks, and then we can just say want to do x times 10. So that will be, and then we want to just subtract -1, and then we want to add the percentage after this. Okay, so why we're doing this? Okay, so what we're doing here, so when we iterate through on the x-axis, the tile position to the left will be x times 0. So the first iteration, it will be 0%. Second iteration, it will be 10%. And then what we're doing is we're subtracting 1 because we just want the full image to be covered. We don't want to see any kind of lines appearing showing the underneath of the image. Okay, and that's why for our tiles, we've set them to be a width of 12% just to cover that, that makes sure that the tiles do cover the full image. Okay, so that's why we're doing this. And then we want to do the same thing for the y-axis. So we're just going to say this dot style dot tile dot style dot top, and that's just going to equal y. Okay, and then next thing I want to do here is we're just going to say we're going to create our borders next. So we'll just say let border top equal document dot create element div, and I'm just going to copy this down because we've got 4 borders, and we'll just say border top, border right, we'll say border bottom, and border left. Okay, so we have our 4 border divs, and then we need to add the class names to these. So we just say border top dot class list dot add, and we want to add the b top, and then we also want to add the tile cover class as well. So tile _ cover. Okay, and then let's just copy this down again 4 times. I'll just say right. We'll change this to right, and then bottom, and then we can say here, B bottom, and then finally left, and we'll change this B top to left. Okay, and then what we want to do now is we can just say tile dot append, and we want to append these 4 borders. Okay, so say border top, border right, border bottom, and border left. Okay, and then now what we can do is we'll just say this dot tiles dot append, or push rather, tile, and that will just push the tiles to this tiles array we have here for each image. And then we can just say this dot l dot append child. I'm going to do append child for this one. Yeah, append child tile. Okay, and then in the observe, what we want to do here, we want to actually create an intersection observer as well. So to do that, I'm going to come to the top of the page, and we'll just say const options equals, and here we'll just specify a threshold of 0.5. This means the images have to be basically, well, 50% of the image has to be in the viewport in order to trigger the reveal effect, basically. Okay, and then if we come underneath this, we'll just do a const callback, and this callback is going to take in all the entries that we pass into our intersection observer, and then we can just say entries dot for each, and then I've done that outright, let's take that out, and we'll just say for each entry. And then in this callback, we can just say if the entry dot is intersecting, okay, and then we can say and not entry dot target dot class list dot contains animated. Then what we want to do here is we'll just say, so basically if an image comes into a viewport, we're going to say if it is intersecting, that's what this loop's doing, and if we haven't set the class of animated, then we want to run this animation. Okay, so if it does come into the viewport for the first time, we are going to say entry dot target dot class list dot add animated, like so. Okay, just don't want this to be this like animation to run all the time. And then what we want to do here is just going to say entry dot target dot query selector all, and then we want to grab all of the tiles. Okay, and then we can just say here dot for each again, and then here we're going to pass in the tile and the index, and here, and sorry, that should be a function, tile and the index. And then what we can do with this is we can just say set timeout, and then we can just say tile.classList.add. We want to hide the tile, hidden. Okay, and then here we can just say, for example, let's just do a math.random times 1500. Okay, and now we just need to create this observer. So we say const observer equals new intersection observer, like so. We'll pass in the callback and the options. We specify it up here. And then now we just really need to kind of just init all of these images. So what we can do is we'll just say containers, or image containers rather, dot for each container, and then we can just say new image container and pass in that container. Okay, so now, okay, reference error, y is not defined. Let's see what's going on there. That should be let. Okay, observe. And then in this observe method, what we want to do is we can just say observer dot observe this dot l. Okay, so let's just see what's going on. Well, we shouldn't be able to see. We can see we have our tiles here. Okay, looks like they haven't got a width. Maybe we should give them a position absolute. Yeah, tile position, let's try that. Position absolute. Okay, now we can see that. So now, dun, dun, dun. Our tile cover. Okay, yeah, that's working now. Okay, so now you'll see when we scroll down, we get that nice kind of reveal effect. Okay, and it only happens once, so yeah, that's working, great. So now we can actually just adjust this effect, okay, so if you don't like that, you know, we could always speed it up as well. So for example, we could change the callback here, you know, make that just really quick. And then we can also, if we just do, for example, entry dot target dot offset left. Times 100. Oh, no, we can just do tile dot offset left. And that should be, let's just do that. Yeah, so if you just set the tile dot offset left, you can see it fades in from the left. So yeah, I think that's quite a cool effect. Yeah, so I'll probably leave it there, guys. That's just how you kind of get this kind of nice tiled effect. We can also, you know, change the colour if you don't like that kind of green. You know, I kind of find these really kind of neon type colors work really nice with this. Let's change the background color to white. And then we'll have black text. See how that looks. Yeah, it's a really nice kind of image reveal effect, I think. Yeah, maybe change this to black. Yeah. Okay, guys. So yeah, I'll leave this there. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye bye.